The Weaver of Timelines. Professor Eleanor Chen stood before her life's work, a gleaming temporal displacement chamber she'd secretly built in her underground laboratory. After 20 years of theoretical physics research, countless failed experiments, and 3 destroyed laboratories, she had finally created a functioning time machine. "Today I fix everything," she whispered, inputting the date, April 16th, 1982, the day her younger brother drowned. She could still see 8-year-old Michael waving as he ran toward the lake, could still hear her 14-year-old self calling, "Wait for me?" She remembered the panic when she arrived at the shore to find only ripples where her brother had been. The chamber hummed to life. Eleanor stepped inside, took a deep breath, and activated the displacement field. A kaleidoscope of fractured moments surrounded her before resolving into a familiar summer day. The air smelled of pine and lake water. Children's laughter echoed from nearby. Eleanor spotted her younger self reading under a tree, completely absorbed in a book, and there was Michael sneaking away toward the lake alone. She intercepted him easily. "Hey there, where are you going?" Michael looked up suspiciously. "Who are you?" "A friend," Eleanor said, kneeling to his level. "That lake is dangerous if you go alone. Why don't we find your sister instead?" "She's reading," Michael pouted. "She always reads." "Trust me," Eleanor said. "Your sister would rather swim with you than finish that book." She led Michael back to young Eleanor and watched from a distance as her brother tugged the book away. She saw her younger self laugh and set the book aside. Together, they walked toward the lake, hand in hand. Mission accomplished, Eleanor activated her return device. The laboratory rematerialized around her. Eleanor stepped out of the chamber, her heart racing with anticipation. But nothing had changed. The same equipment surrounded her. The same empty apartment waited above. The same hole in her heart remained. Frantically, she checked her files. According to her instruments, she had indeed created a new timeline, one where Michael lived. But this timeline, her original timeline, continued unaltered. Eleanor sank to the floor. She had saved her brother, but not her brother. Some other Eleanor would grow up with Michael while she remained here, unchanged. Over the following months, Eleanor made dozens of jumps. She prevented a terrorist attack that killed hundreds. She warned a young cancer researcher about a fatal flaw in his methodology. She even left anonymous tips that prevented 3 wars. Each time, her instruments showed new timelines branching off, ones where tragedies were averted, but her own reality remained fixed. On her 42nd jump, Eleanor traveled to witness the results of her interventions. She visited the timeline where Michael lived, now a grown man with children of his own. She observed the countries that never went to war, the lives saved by medical breakthroughs that came years earlier because of her hints. But as she collected more data, a disturbing pattern emerged. Despite her interventions, the sum total of suffering across the multiverse remained strangely constant. In timelines where she prevented one tragedy, different calamities emerged. The cancer researcher she helped went on to develop treatments that saved millions, but also created pathogens that escaped and killed thousands. The wars she prevented were replaced by economic collapses that caused different but equivalent suffering. It was as if the multiverse itself was conserving some cosmic balance. In her final jump, Eleanor visited a timeline where she had grown up with Michael. This Eleanor was happier, her life full in ways the original Eleanor couldn't imagine. But this Eleanor had never built a time machine. Instead, she had become a neuroscientist studying free will and determinism. Original Eleanor attended a lecture by her alternate self. From the back of the hall, she listened as alternate Eleanor presented research suggesting human decisions might be predetermined by neural activity occurring before conscious awareness. "We believe we make choices," alternate Eleanor told the audience. "But what if our sense of choosing is merely an illusion our brains create after the choice is already made?" Original Eleanor slipped out before the lecture ended. That night, she destroyed her time machine and all her research. In her journal, she wrote her conclusions. "I set out to prove that we could change the past, that free will could triumph over fate. Instead, I discovered something more profound. While individual timelines contain the illusion of choice, the multiverse as a whole follows patterns that cannot be broken. We can create new branches of reality, but we cannot alter the tapestry itself. Perhaps true freedom isn't found in changing what has happened, but in how we respond to what is. My alternate self was right. Choice as we understand it may be an illusion, but across the multiverse of possibilities, it is the only illusion that matters. The moral of the story. In a universe of infinite timelines, true change is impossible yet constantly occurring. Our choices may be predetermined by forces beyond our understanding, creating only the illusion of free will. Yet within that illusion lies our humanity, our ability to find meaning in our responses to circumstances we cannot control. Perhaps the true measure of freedom is not whether we can change the multiverse, but whether we can accept our place within it while still striving to make each timeline we touch a little better than we found it.